Hello, good morning, good morning, good morning, good evening to those of you that are not in my part of the world. How are you doing all today? I see in the chat people are going mad for the tree, the tree, the tree. So there you go. I've said it. Let's get over that little thing. We will get into that later. I'm here again every week with my fabulous co-host, Stephen Cup of Reason. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we've got John Rapp with us today, our special guest. Absolutely.
So
Looking forward to
excited.
Hello,
this one. Should
everybody.
be fun. Hey, John, how are you?
I'm talking over them already. How are you, everybody?
Please do. And for anyone that's in the chat, can you please, because we have to do it, I'm sorry, can you please give John Rapp the traditional John Rapp welcome? So you all know what it is, and we will discuss that in a little while. So John,
Yeah,
how are you
absolutely.
doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. It's what is it? 10:37 here in Sydney, so getting a bit late. Trying to keep the volume down a little bit so I don't wake people up.
I'm sure they'll be okay with you waking them up. It's for something important now. Because this is your first time being on stream.
It is.
Yeah,
How?
kind of getting looking forward to getting to know a little bit more about who John Rapp really is.
I'm just a smart-ass Aussie larrikin.
Ah, okay.
Yes, you said this. So you said this before we went live, and I'm fascinated by this. You're American, living
I
in
am.
Australia. So can you explain to people what happened there?
Well, I was born in Wisconsin Rapids in the US, and when I was 7, nearly 8, my family, my mother, father, sister, and I came to Australia. That was 50 years ago. And
Wow.
funny
And
enough, I'm still a US citizen. I've never naturalized.
see, I would have thought you would have naturalized over the last 4 years, no?
Oh, my sister did. I don't think my father or mother have.
Mm.
I just never really saw the reason. In fact, 30 odd years ago, when I was considering it, I actually thought traveling around the world, I would be better off on a US passport than an Aussie passport. You know, because of the might of the USA and all that. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, you're better off being an Aussie going around the world now.
Yeah. Don Jezza says you sound 100% Aussie.
Yeah, so I lost my accent around about the end of high school. I can't even do a good American accent. It's just not, I can't even do a good one.
What
My
was that
father
like?
still has one.
I have this thing where, because I lived in Cork for 10 years, when I came back to Dublin, it would take me a while, but all of a sudden, like, the Dublin accent would come back out. And my mom actually said to me a few times, why are you speaking with that accent? You're not Cork. Stop talking Cork. You know, um, did that ever happen to you? Did you ever have that moment of realization saying, oh, I speak with this accent now?
You know, there's a funny story about that. When I was about mid-20s, late 20s, I was going out with a English girl from Surrey in England. And after a couple of months of going out with her, we were known as the English couple because I picked up her accent. And so for almost a year, I was speaking with a Surrey accent.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It
So,
is.
what got you into the debunking scene? Because that's where most of us know you. I know
Yeah.
you watch some of the science videos as well, but what actually brought you in to the debunking community?
I, 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 I vaguely remember Conspiracy Cats and Simon Dan a couple of years ago. You know, would have popped up in recommendations for some reason. I used to watch a lot of Sovereign Citizen stuff, you know, Donut Operator, just some of the more, you know, woo channels that were, you know, talking with idiots. And then the Flat Earth got recommended, and I watched one stream and I thought, oh, this is absolutely stupid. They can't be serious. And then the more I watched it, the more interesting it became because I really am interested in science. All my life, it's been science related, but I've never worked in the field.
Neither have I. Neither have I.
No.
My
Social
favorite
science is
subject
for
in
me.
Yeah, my favorite subject in school was always physics. Physics, sort of, then chemistry. I did 3-unit maths, which is the highest level maths at the time, and don't remember any of it. But
Wow. I'm trying to think. Round Thinker is in the chat, and Round Thinker came to me a little while ago and asked me to do one of his videos, and so I did. And he gave me the script to read, and and it was basic. It was absolutely basic, but I couldn't read it. It was like being back in like third year in school, going through a French oral because
Oh, geez.
it was like a different language. So when you watch it, you can enjoy that piece of knowledge that it took me about 3 hours to record it because I had no idea what I was saying.
I just couldn't believe, every now and then like Professor Phil Bell will say something, or some of the PhD Tony, and you sort of, it's amazing what you can remember from 35, 37 years ago in high school.
Yeah.
I can barely remember last week, so it's problematic.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, why is it still in my head after 37 years? I haven't even said that word in 37 years.
And it's great having Phil Bell around because he's just one of those people who, although he's talking in-depth science, you can still kind of follow along. He's one of these great scientific minds, but he makes it easily approachable. And half the time, I have no idea what he's saying. I know he's speaking English, but I've no idea what he's saying. I just like following along.
Well, you do
Yeah.
know his first language is French.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, he's also a converted Aussie.
I did not know that.
Ah, interesting.
I think it was Canadian. I think it might have been Canadian, but I'm sure he told us once on a stream that he was his first language was French.
Huh.
There you go. Steaming Cup of Reason. You need to get in there. You need to start
Hey.
talking to him.
I don't know what to say. I'm kind of surprised by that because I'm Canadian.
But you haven't lost
Well,
your
yeah,
accent.
sure, yeah, betcha, hey.
Well, I
Canadian.
really never had an accent to lose. That's
Oh, you do. Oh, you do. You do. I'm sorry. You do.
I never noticed I have an accent of any kind. It's just
The only person that doesn't have an accent, is Creaky.
well, that's what I've been told, Yeah, okay. Okay, so I have a Canadian accent.
You do. I'm sorry, but you do. That's not an insult, but you don't sound Vietnamese. You definitely
Well,
don't.
no, because first of all, I don't speak the language fully. I just know a few phrases here and there. And I haven't been here long enough to really develop an accent.
Apparently, Clive Wells doesn't have an accent either. I'm not so sure about that. Clive, find a goat so you can come on next week.
Yeah.
We will see.
Yeah, it's an easy one this week, folks.
I actually found it for the first time.
Yeah.
Without being told.
Didn't need any help from me.
I came in, I see the goat. And I was able to actually see the goat for the first time ever. Like the last two that we've done, the last one, I was there for 20 minutes staring at the screen trying to find the fucking goat.
Yeah, we had quite a few people scratching their heads over it. And then finally, John Rapp figured it out.
Well done.
It was a little bit of a process of elimination, and then I actually upped my screen resolution as high as I could and got the little magnifying glass out.
There you go.
That's cool.
I got to make
But
it a
don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone.
We won't. Shh. It's our secret. Shh.
Nobody on the stream realized.
That's right.
Process of illumination, says the snark.
I absolutely love the chat. They are the cleverest people, and there's nothing like watching a live stream and following along with the chat, is there?
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the chat there for a minute. So we
Yeah.
all have one or two things that latch onto us. For me, for some fucking reason, it's the way I say three. People have a fascination, and they will not leave me the fuck alone with the whole three thing, which is fine. It's fine.
That's,
It's all in good fun. You have to have a laugh, and it's a way of identifying who is friendly and who has no idea who I am. You have a very particular, strange term of endearment. Would you like to go
yeah.
through and explain why people give you the middle finger every time you enter a chat?
It's certainly unique, isn't it?
It
Okay,
is.
so I was at work. A lot of the US streams are, the US evening streams are when I'm at work in Australia, in Sydney. And often while at work, I can't really interact with the chat too well, so I'll leave it playing in the background. One day I was on one of Team Skeptic's live streams. He was carrying on with his usual stuff and entertaining people and talking to people, and I put the phone in my top pocket while I was working, and getting a little bit sweaty during the day. It was a hot day, summer or something, and I didn't realize it because I wasn't paying attention to the chat, but I was timing people out and blocking people in the chat, and I had no idea, and it didn't come into the stream because the team wasn't paying attention to the chat.
Oh,
So the chat's trying to tell stream that John Raps, they were, when I went back and looked at it later that night, because I love watching the chat, and because I don't pay too much attention while I'm at work, I like to go back and rewatch shows for the bits that I missed, what might have been put on screen, what might have been referred to in the comments, a train of conversation or something. And I was watching through this, and all of a sudden I started seeing these comments. John Rapp's out of control. John Rapp's timing people out for no reason. John Rapp's blocking people. What's going on? Team, they're all trying to get team's attention, and he's not paying attention. And I was just devastated. So I went into Discord and tried to spot a few of the people and try to send out as many apologies as I could. I sent an apology to the team. I was just devastated with what I was doing because I had no idea. The next stream, I'm listening in on the next stream, and I made the mistake of saying hello in the chat. Team latched onto it.
That is unforgiving.
Team latched onto it, and he just gave me shit for quite a bit. And then he made it a thing that I'm going to give John Rapp the middle finger, and he started putting that, and he made that a thing. So whenever I see, whenever I go into chats, I'll be into a totally unrelated, not even flat Earth chat somewhere, and somebody will recognize my name, and I'll get the middle finger. And as fun as it is, it's been going for about 18 months now, and I got to admit, it gets in the way sometimes. I was saying before that I can almost say anything I like for my first comment, and it'll totally get ignored while all the middle finger business starts.
Yeah,
So, I can get away with anything.
Jeez.
Yes, and it started with me now with the word three.
I saw that with all the trees in the comment, bringing the infantry. When people get on a roll in the chat, that's the funniest thing.
Yeah. So how does it feel when people do that to you? Especially when you have something really important to say. I think personally speaking, I think the best thing is to say hello first, allow all of this shit to happen, and then say what you want to say. But what is it like when you put something really important in the chat, or what for you has a really important contribution, and all you get back is the middle finger?
It gets a little frustrating because often I'll go into a chat, especially a busy stream, where there's more than 100 people, or there's a couple hundred people, and you'll make a few comments before somebody will sort of realize, or maybe the host will see, oh, John Rapp's in the chat now, and then it just goes, it's just anything I say just goes out the window for the next 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm quite honoured by it. It's really nice to have that unique little recognition thing, but it kind of gets in the way sometimes, because then I got to sort of sit there, and you feel you feel guilty for not responding to everybody that said hello to you,
Yeah.
and you end up resorting to the hello everybody type of thing. Because I'm not a fast typer, I'm a one thumb typer on a phone. So, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
it's
quite
slow.
like that myself. I'm quite like that myself. I'm a slow typer, and it's trying to get back to everybody. And yeah, you do kind of feel guilty when you don't individually thank everyone for saying hello or say hello back or whatever.
I'm,
Exactly.
I'm feeling a little bit left out here. You've got the middle finger. Crafty's got the trees. I got nothing.
we need to give Jeff something. We definitely need to give you something. I'm sure Clive Wells will come up with something, or Jessica G will come up with something to give you.
Geez, that puts the fear of whatever into me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Taddy has the drinks. It's yeah. You need to go into more chats, and we'll definitely and embarrass yourself a little bit, because that's what we've done. We've embarrassed ourselves, and therefore something catches on. So we
Yeah.
definitely need something for you, reason. And
You're too respected, Jeff. You're just too respected. That's what it is.
Well, maybe, I'm not kind of good about that, but Taddy says, be careful what you wish for.
yes, Taddy, get on it. You and Clive together is a lethal combination. So Taddy and Clive, come up with something.
Oh, well,
Clive is just the whole package, isn't he?
Yeah, the steaming coffee cups. I get that often. I use that as part of my Discord tag.
I think we need something stronger for
Well, okay.
reason.
Let's not push it here. Okay.
You see, here's the thing. You've come onto this stream. You've agreed to do a weekly stream with me.
Yeah.
And things are going to be said. And at some point, you will slip up. And something will catch on, and they will never let you forget it.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
But it is a nice thing.
So everybody, we're just looking for that one little soundbite.
Yeah. Like JL with the ghosts. We will get it. We will get it. If you wait, it will come.
If I wait, it will come. Okay.
Yeah.
Just careful of Jessica G. She is savage.
She is. She's incredible. I've never seen a troll so proficient in what she does than Jessica G. I love her to bits.
Oh yeah, I remember when I had JL Warren on the Mega Mirror. She was in the chat, and no matter what happened, I got points and JL got nothing.
I think I watched that stream. She was scoring everybody like a baseball game, wasn't she?
Yeah. It's like 10 points for Steam Cup, 0 points for JL, and just the whole stream right through to the end.
That came from a discussion on the Beardsman. Again, when you're doing a weekly show, something's going to be said, and the chat will not let you forget it. They will bring it in. Yeah, they will definitely bring it in. Yeah, it was funny as fuck, Taddy. They will bring it into every stream you're in. And it is like, you have to take it with a pinch of salt.
Of course.
Like I pretend sometimes, like the 3 thing, it's going to give me a complex about saying the word 3. But I also have to recognize that I do have a weird accent for most people. And it's a term of endearment. It's a strange one, especially for you, John. Very strange way of saying I'm happy you're here. But it's something that everybody has latched onto. So, I mean, is there any live streams that you go into now that you don't get recognized and you don't get the middle finger thrown at you by at least one person?
Yeah, it is getting less and less now. It is tapering off, which is good, in a way. I mean, it's nice to have had, but like I say, it does tend to get a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. The funny ones are when you're in a totally different stream and somebody will come in with, what's John Rep do? Why is John Rep so bad? Why is he so hated? And then you have to sort of, I'm not.
No. It's just a running gag. It's a running gag.
The Snark says, for me, it's cats, conspiracy cats. That's all I get.
Well, he wrote the song, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And he performed it.
Yeah, that's right.
He actually performed it last night on Seek Truth, Speak Truths.
See cats.
That was awesome.
That's Seek Truth, Speak Truth. Seek, if you're out there listening, get a hold of me for the Lord's sake.
Yeah, he definitely does. And Terry Davies is in the chat. Terry, you need to have him on. You need to have John Rapp on and actually make him speak on the Aussie perspective. And if you want, yeah,
I do love Terry's streams. They're great. He really is a laid back Aussie, and it's great to be in those sort of chats. So there's a small group of people. It gets very personal, but it's really fun.
Cool. Yeah. So I mean, what kind of I don't want to say who's your favorites. But we were discussing before we went live. I'm interested in who your favorite person to slag off in terms of conspiracy theories. Who are your favorites to see being brought down a peg?
Oh, it's got to be the Nathan Thompson, Nathan Oakley, Riley, and QE. They are some of the worst. Then you get your Lemon Birds and your Gary Y. Bothers and some of the ones that are real keyboard warriors in the chats. They really are just cut and paste warriors, and they can't back up anything they say. It's great to argue with some of them.
Multi Tom Tom is just one of the funniest people.
Oh, Multi Dum Dum.
Yeah.
It's funny, they all pick names that you can really put a really derogatory term to, isn't it? Like, Gary Y. Bother, Multi Dum Dum. Yeah, Witsit doesn't get it. I like the ones. I like the streams where people put the F in front of Witsit, so it's like F Witsit. Doesn't get it.
Yeah. Surf says apparently while 3 is Crafty's bane, 4 is Terry's. Why is 4 Terry's bane? I'm curious to know now.
That was funny. We were there was probably about 20-30 people in the chat as usual, and it was one of his live streams. And what he does is he gets a whole bunch of videos lined up to play that we can all point and laugh at. And he's got like a good half a dozen, 8 or 9 people in the stream, all making comments and throwing jokes and quips at whatever thing they're playing. So he got into at one time he started asking the audience, okay, pick a number between 1 and 8, and then he started making rules about when you could actually start voting and stop voting. You had to stop voting. If you didn't stop voting, he would time you out. If you voted after the timeout, he would sort of vote you out. And then he made this rule. One of the streams, 4 kept coming up, and he got a little bit annoyed with that because it was always 4. So he banned picking 4. So then everybody started getting creative. The chat rebelled, and that was the funniest thing. When you get a chat that gets a bone, and they want to play with that bone, there's no stopping them. And it's the funniest thing watching a thread go through a chat, and all the different ways of putting 4 without actually saying 4, and the golf 4, the Roman numeral 4s and things like that. So then he made up these rules that rule number 1, Terry is always right, or Terry's word is final. Rule number 2, play the topic, not the man, type of thing, whatever. Rule number 3 was something else, and then there was rule D. So there was 1, 2, 3, and D. And there was even one stream where so many people were putting 4 in, the entire stream at one time or another through the night was blocked. Was timed out. Everybody was just getting timed out. So there was nobody commenting in the chat because everybody was timed out. So that's how you rebel. That's how you train a host.
That is remarkable. That is impressive. Oh, I wish I had been there to see that one.
It actually went on for weeks. It just went on for like quite a few streams, and that's why the fourth thing still keeps going.
Yeah, see, when I used to go into the Aussie perspective, because the perspective used to start as I was going out to do the milking. So I would put it on like that. I would put it on and put my earphones in and just listen. And then when the milking was finished, then I'd enter the chat. And every time people were saying, choose four. Don't ask, just choose four. And I was like, what the fuck is this about? And nobody would ever tell me. Nobody would ever tell me. But yeah.
Well, it's got to the point now where if you go into Terry's chat, you've got to get a spanner really quick, and you can't refer to it as a wrench. It's a spanner because it's an Aussie show. All right?
A spanner.
You don't have wrenches down here. A wrench is something you do to a muscle.
What?
Okay. You see that?
Okay, explain that comment. Explain that comment.
Oh, you wrench your muscle. It's like you tear a muscle or you pull a muscle. You know, you
Ah,
wrench
okay.
Yeah, or
I've
when
never
you
heard that
hurt your
expression.
back, you know, you wrenched your back or you wrenched your shoulder.
Yeah.
It's when you've done damage to a physical part of yourself. You've wrenched something, pushed it too far. You know.
I have never
Yes, I
heard
was-
that expression. I'm gonna be honest.
Well,
I
it's
wasn't
really
referring to what you thought I was referring to, was I?
yeah, it's really kind of I think it's really kind of a North American phrase to wrench something.
Yeah, probably is.
Limey Place says in the UK Nathan Oakley's a spanner. Yeah. So in the UK
Oakley's
it's
a
a
spanner all
spanner.
over the frickin' globe.
Well, in the UK and Ireland, a spanner is yes, it's a tool, but it's also the other kind of tool. You know, the gobshite, the fucking idiot, the moron. So yeah, spanner is used as an insult.
Yeah,
So I've
Slappy the
often wondered
clown.
I've often wondered what the Aussies, sorry, what the UK and you know Europe and the States, what are their sort of endearing or even derogatory terms for Aussies? I don't know that I've really heard any.
Other than Aussies?
Because
Yeah,
we call Englishmen POMs, we call Americans septics or septic tanks or you know tanks. You know, when I was growing up, you know, you would call somebody a Western European, you would call them wogs, and that actually came from Western Oriental gentlemen. So, but it was very derogatory, and
Yeah.
I've never heard any derogatory terms about Aussies.
neither have I, to be honest with you. Nor have I ever really heard a derogatory term for Canadians, other than like the only one I can really recall standing out is the word Canuck, which is kind of like a slang way of saying Canadian. To be a
What's the origin of that?
Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I really don't. One of our hockey teams, the Vancouver hockey team, is called the Vancouver Canucks. But where that word came from, I could not tell you. I really couldn't.
I know there is bush dwellers. Bush dwellers is a popular one to call an Aussie. I don't know anything else. Because they're out in the bush.
Terry Davies, convicts.
Well, what's
convict? Yes, I've heard that.
What's the most common derogatory term to refer to an Irishman?
Oh, we have a load of things. We have fucking potato, paddy, knacker, the whole lot.
Most commonly used worldwide. A
paddy.
Paddy. A paddy.
Paddy. Because a lot of people called their sons Patrick, and because Saint Patrick is the patron saint of Ireland, so Paddy. So we used to when during the famine we'd go to the States and potato people. The other one is calling an Aussie Skippy.
Skippy.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Skippy the bush kangaroo. Was on every TV show, and that's literally how we thought of as Aussies. God love you.
Yeah, he was a logo for a peanut butter brand, wasn't he?
No, there was a TV show called Skippy the Bush Kangaroo.
Okay,
and it was like
in America, a very popular brand of peanut butter is called Skippy.
Skippy in the TV show was smarter than most of the other actors.
Yes, yes. But Skippy was the Aussie version of Lassie.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
I got you.
So that just came to me. Sorry. So yeah, Paddy for us, and that came into as an insult really when we emigrated to the States, and it was used as a real insult for migrants coming into the US.
Yeah.
Everyone was called a Paddy.
Yeah, and the Brits were called limeys.
Yep, we used to say that, yeah.
Yeah, limeys. I can't remember what it was for the Scots.
Yeah, I mean, it's a misunderstanding on how we use. We have a weird way in which we name our children, and how we refer to people. Because a lot of the time, especially in one family, you would have about 15 Pats. You'd have like 12 fucking Michaels. You know, Mary was a popular one, especially because of the fucking church. So what would happen is, as you get older and as you look, Snark is singing Skippy in the chat. As you got older, you would take a townland. And so, let's say Pat the Glebe. The Glebe would be where Pat lives. Pat of the Glebe. You know, that would be how people told you apart from your siblings or from your family. Because you'd have probably an uncle and your dad and your granddad would have the same name. And the way in which they differentiated was where they lived. But Paddy was a popular one as an insult. And it still is a popular one as an insult for Irish. We have loads of them, though.
That's very, very interesting. No. Very interesting.
Mathfig says, Crafty's channel, the place to learn how to be racist to other countries. Don't even Mathfig. That's just me.
Oh, jeez.
See, this is the thing with not having like set topics. It's a lot more fun. The discussion can go anywhere. That's what I like. And I need that on a Sunday morning. I'm sorry. I've been working hard all week.
Well, you got to let the frustration out somehow.
That's it. It's not even that we're learning how to be racist. We're just discussing terms.
Yeah.
But if you choose to take those terms and use them, Mathpig, then that says a lot more about you.
That's right. It does.
Biatch. Mathpig is just salty because of last night. Because he was, yeah. He kept getting timed out last night. He kept getting timed out last night on Cider and Port's stream. So he's a bit snarky. Not to confuse you with the Snark, who's awesome. He's just salty.
I think I saw Mathpig getting timed out on his own channel. He left a couple of mods with, executive level thing, and they were timing him out. I think is that right?
I don't know. It could have been. It could have been Mathpig.
Can you confirm whether that was the case?
He went into a stream of someone that he doesn't really like, and he was challenging him on bullshit. And he has 16 or something different alt accounts, and he got timed out on all 16. It was hilarious. So by the time the 16th got timed out, yeah, the mods have special commands. Yeah, so it was his stream that he got timed out on his own stream. Yes. Yeah, you way-banged Mathpig. Well, it wasn't me that way-banged Mathpig, because Mathpig had a wrench in Cider and Port's stream. It was actually Cider and Port that just decided, beep, and he was timed out, which was fun. And then he came into the chat with a few alt accounts, so I could ban them. It was great. It was fun. You'd know we were friends, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And just on Gary Wybenga, me and him have an interesting relationship, as in every chat he comes into, I basically time him out. And I'm one of the first people always to get to time out fucking Gary Wybenga. He does my head in.
I've taken to arguing with him in chats, like deliberately arguing with him, and I like him to sort of be there because I really try to drive home the point. He is just so wrong about a couple of things that it's just I just cannot believe that he still has his blinkers on. He's got narrow vision and sorry tunnel vision and a narrow mind, and so many flirts I find are that way.
Oh yeah.
And I think when you asked me a week ago, what sort of topics I might be interested in, one of the first things I noticed when I used to come into chats and look at the debunking channels was the comments from the flat earthers. They were full of bad spelling, bad grammar, and bad punctuation. More so than all the globe heads, if you want to call them that.
It's
Right?
coming.
Yeah, that's right. Space come. Yeah.
That was one of the funniest things, and I miss that with Cats. I miss his reading the comments. I just love that, and it made it really drove home how it's got to be a low level of education, because it was so prominent with the flat earthers, whereas other people in the chats and in the comment sections there would be punctuation, proper spelling. There is one of the worst ones. There, and there.
Oh yeah.
It's just it's so wrong everywhere. But
So
you
much.
really notice the difference if you start looking at the comments of flat earthers and the conspiracists. They have the worst punctuation, grammar, and spelling.
But it's so funny.
It's amazing.
It is funny to watch.
And most of those errors are they're not even acceptable at the grade school level.
Yeah,
you would think
Math Pig is not going to comment on this because he's not English Pig.
not English pig.
The less said about that Math Pig, the better. Snark says Gary White Benga and other flurfers don't make any adjustment for Coriolis, nor can they give any kind of logical explanation, except for, well, I never leave my basement. Yeah. I mean, the thing with the flurfs, and there's a lot less of them. There's only really Multi Tom Tom, Feel Jesus in You, and Gary that actually go do the rounds in the different streams now. Who was your favorite one to argue with in the chat, John? Other than Gary?
Other than Gary, Multi Tom Tom. I can't even think of them. There's so many that just.
Well, you've had a good. You've had a couple of good rows at Feel Jesus in You.
Yeah, that name. It's just somebody pointed out one day. It was a creepy name, and the funny thing was, as soon as that was said, I had just noticed that the one female in the chat, he just zeroed in on and started trying to have a conversation with, and he was actually a little bit creepy to start with, and that just drove it home. His name and everything, and then the chat just gave it to him. And, it was. But he stuck it out. He didn't run away. He stuck it out. I got to give him that, and he does come across as a lot more respectful now. But having a go at his ideas and his beliefs.
That's good fun. I'm convinced he's a Poe. He's a Poe.
Yes,
I
does
think
come across like that, doesn't he?
Out of people. Because generally he seems like a fairly decent fellow. I think he's just doing it to get a rise out of people. I'm convinced he's a Poe.
So Tina Jones says, I just call Tom Tom Donkey, and he totally ignores me then.
Yeah.
There you go.
Donkeys.
Multi Tom Tom used to. I'm pretty sure Multi Tom Tom didn't his avatar, his picture used to be him standing there in a red motorbike helmet.
Yes.
And I think he changed that because I said in chat one day, "Is that your going outside helmet? Is it, or something?" Because he was being really stupid in chat, and I said, "Is that your special helmet? Is it for going outside or something?" And I noticed that he changed it not long after that because the rest of the chat got on it as well.
Zark says, I call Shills versus Shills silly, very silly. He hates me. Me and Shills have an interesting relationship, actually. Me and Shills can have an argument for an entire stream. It's actually really impressive. He's the only one that I've actually not timed out because, right, so and he's another copy pasta person, right? But when you get him talking, oh my God, the animosity that comes out of that man. It's amazing.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
amazing how badly you can trigger that fucker. So
He's rude, sexist, racist, the whole lot, very quickly, isn't he?
yes. And I think it was in a Cats, when Cats went live once. I can't remember who was on. I think he was talking to Steek, actually. And Shills came in, and for the entire thing, I was just winding Shills up. For the entire thing. Got him out of the whole the copy paste thing and just got him talking, and everyone was like, holy fuck.
Yeah. Fohammer says he's easy to trigger him too.
Very,
And you know,
very.
and now that you mention that, another person recently who's been so easy to trigger is Daniel Pratt. Irish Demon's been having a grand old time with that fool.
Yeah, I don't bother with Daniel Pratt. I really don't. He's.
I love that he made the mistake of challenging. Who's he? He challenged somebody to a IQ test.
Yeah, that's Irish Demon.
Test.
Yeah.
Irish Demon, that's right. And then as soon as Irish responded, he backed up. He backed out of it.
No, he didn't.
Said he would. Well, he said he would do it and beat the average person.
No, he didn't back out. It had to be live, and it had to be this, and he had to be this, and it had to be this, and when Demon actually said yes, he went on. It was on the plot hole the other day. He went on and said, "Irish Demon won't do this." Dude, he's already said to you, "Yes, I will do it."
That's right.
So, put up or shut up.
I was watching Johnny O today, plot hole, and he offered to host both of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody talking directly to Daniel Pratt.
Oh, he won't. He hasn't got the stones for it.
Say hello.
Hi.
Hello.
This is Millie. Millie will be back with a new gaming stream, which is very. Explain how excited you are about the gaming streams.
So excited. I don't know.
What are we going to play?
Among Us.
And just
Fall Guys.
And Fall Guys.
That's all we've said on. We might do a quiz. We said
we might do a quiz, but we have to find out what you and your brother are actually decent in knowledge. Because Fortnite is one of them, but I have no idea what.
I'm thinking of starting watching Gravity Falls, so we might be able to do them on that.
We might have has he watched Gravity Falls?
He's on Gravity Falls.
Okay.
I think he's already finished it.
So you heard it here first, people. We are going to have a Gravity Falls quiz.
We might.
We are.
Okay.
When you watch it. And Millie here, we've been set and watched. What did we watch, me and you?
His Dark Materials.
Yeah, we did.
And I'm so annoyed.
She's annoyed because she has to wait for season 3.
And I still have to wait for her to watch at least one episode so I can watch it.
Yes. So the deal I have, right? I will watch. So it comes out here on a Sunday. His Dark Materials I have loved since I was like 12. And so Millie is nearly as forceful as she is. She's a force to be reckoned with. She's amazing. So we were watching His Dark Materials, but I have to watch it before she does to make sure what's coming up is acceptable and not going to, what's the word? Traumatize.
Yeah, of course.
That's why I watch it before you do.
That's awfully thoughtful of you, Crafty.
It is thoughtful, but she's still sitting there like basically pissed off. Aren't you? without saying it. But go get dressed and go play. Say goodbye.
See ya.
Bye-bye, Millie.
She's gone. So here's a question. Speaking of what we were watching, so His Dark Materials is quite advanced, and the only reason why I got her to watch it, yeah, I love the miniseries. It's absolutely incredible. The only way I got her to watch it, she's a big fan of Hamilton, which I've said repeatedly on these streams, and she loves Lin-Manuel Miranda, and he's in it. So that's basically how I got her to start watching it. As soon as she watched the first episode, she was hooked, because it's just great storytelling. So here's a question. A few weeks ago, me and my nephew watched Jurassic Park for the first time. He was at me for weeks wanting to watch Jurassic World because there's a skin in Fortnite, which he loves to play. What was the first movie that really influenced you in any way, shape, or form? What was the earliest time that you remember watching a movie that had a real impact on you? And Disney is not included.
Huh. That's a damn good question. But I think, in all honesty, I would have to say it was 2001: A Space Odyssey, just because of my love of space to begin with.
You know, I read that book, and I've pretty much read everything that Arthur C. Clarke has written. I really didn't like the movie. I thought it was so slow and boring.
It
I'm sorry.
was,
It was good. It was relatively true to the book, but it was just,
yeah,
to me, it was painful to watch.
I agree. It was a slow, rather dull movie for the most part. But for me, it was just the story itself and what he envisioned the future to be. You know, that,
Yeah.
I
All my
saw
life,
it.
I've read science fiction in almost exclusively, but it really doesn't transfer. None of those great books that I remember, that I've read many times over the years, none of those great books really ever transfer to movies very well.
Yeah. The only thing that never made sense to me about that movie was the monolith. It just I couldn't get my head around what he was trying to communicate with that monolith.
Okay,
Have you read the book?
Pardon me?
Have you read the book?
No, I've never read the book. I'll be honest, I have never read the book.
Yeah, I think that's why I understood the monolith bit, because it's very well explained in the book.
Yeah.
John, Fohammer says, I'm going to rebel and say Frozen because it's made me want to shoot every snowman I see on general principle.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
The reason I excluded Disney is because we watched Disney from a very early age, or most of us. And so we can't remember the first time we watched it and the effect that it had on us. So that's why I asked to exclude Disney movies.
Yeah.
But having said that, I don't know if it is a Disney.
My choice would have been different if we were allowed to include Disney.
Okay, well, let's include Disney.
My first ever drive-in theater show was Lady and the Tramp.
I remember
I
that.
still remember that.
That was wonderful. No, I think as far as a movie that would impact me emotionally was Old Yeller.
Never seen it. I'm going to be honest, I've never seen it. If we are including Disney, for me, it was... See, a lot of people would say Bambi because it was the first time a character in Disney dies off screen, and it's the first time you actually deal with death as a young person. But for me, it was actually Fox and the Hound.
Wow.
Fox and the Hound for me was the biggest influence, I think, on my life. And especially like when I got sick as a kid, which was quite often. When I got sick, the one movie that I would have to watch was Fox and the Hound. And the reason why I loved it so much was because it was, the whole premise of it was this fox and this hound, which were not supposed to be friends at all, being friends. And that loyalty, that friendship, even when their worlds were torn apart and they were literal enemies, in the end, that friendship actually came through. And I know it's a very, it's not realistic, but for me, that was that. It kind of set me up in how I wanted to treat animals. It set me up on, because the whole thing starts with this tiny little fox. The hunter, who the hound is Copper is belonging to, shoots a fox at the beginning, and the fox dies. But she was coming back to feed her child, her cub, and the little old woman, takes the cub in and raises the cub. And again, it kind of set me up on, this is how you treat animals. This is the respect that you give them. And when it's time, you release them back into the wild, and you respect the animal as the animal. So it set up a lot in my life of how I wanted to live. So that had the biggest impact. I can't remember what movie beyond Disney actually first impacted my life. It's very hard. It is a very hard. That's why I asked. That's why I excluded Disney.
Yeah.
Before I really took too much notice of movies, and I don't really have a movie influence when I was young. My mother started me on science fiction, and I'm pretty sure my first science fiction book I ever read as a young teenager was Robert Heinlein's Star Beast. I don't know if people are familiar about it. It's about a young teenager that has a pet. That's a big. He calls it the lummox, and it's this big, huge, lumbering alien. And it was just a very potent story. I don't know if anybody recognizes it. That I've read all of the big three. Asimov, Clarke, and Heinlein, and then it just started from there.
Yeah.
Cool. I've never heard of it. I'll definitely look into it though. Yeah, I think actually as a young adult is the earliest I can remember a movie having an impact on me, and that was Pay It Forward.
That was a good movie, actually.
Pay It Forward. It was just it was beautifully written. It was beautifully performed, and it just that ending just devastated me.
Yeah.
Made me appreciate what I had. I'm not going to go any further, because if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go see it. It was a good movie. Even
another movie that I've seen that really, really hit me close to the heart. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's called Erin Brockovich.
Yes, such a great
story. What a story! And the ending, oh man. That woman deserved everything she ended up getting.
Yeah, Julia Roberts played that so perfectly, and what was great was she followed. She did a thing with the real Erin Brockovich, where she would actually follow her around and find out how she lived, how she spoke, and I have to give it to Julia Roberts. She did do her homework on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But man, what a story! That was a great movie.
That explains a lot, Clive. Apparently, my Clive Wells, my favorite was The Omen, as it spoke to me in some way about my calling as the Antichrist. That explains.
I was going to say before, Clive Wells is the whole package, isn't he? He's one of the smartest guys on in the chats everywhere. He's a regular guy. He comes across. He's got the best jokes. He shit stirs like an Aussie. And look at that picture. I mean, if that looks anything like him, he's even a good-looking bloke. So he's the whole package, isn't he?
Yeah. Just real quick, Chris Durham came into the chat. So we were having a conversation on Seek Truth, Speak Truths last night, and I'm going to say it here because they're both in the chat. Chris, you and the Snark really need to link up and do a duet.
Oh yeah.
Put that out there right now.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. Fohammer makes a very good point. He uses his intelligence to troll, kinda. Not kinda, he does. it's kind of a waste. It's kind of he is a brilliant troll. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, what's up with that, Clive? What's up with that? And it's a weird thing because he is Dr. Clive Wells, and he doesn't like people calling him doctor. I don't understand that at all. Well, I do understand it, but I do like poking at that. It is past. Reason.
It is past. Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, well then I guess you know what that means.
Find the goat, people. Spot the goat. And you could be in John Rapp's place next week.
That's right. Ooh. And when you hear the goat again, the contest is over.
Yes. Yes, it's past, Math Big. Don't even. Right, here's the thing. I learned hosting people, as we did on the farm, that yes, there's another goat besides me. It's cool. I learned that when we say, like, in the UK and Ireland, we tend to say, it's 12:30. Like right now, it's 12:30. And for most of the world, when you say it's 12:30, they actually think it's 11:30 instead of 12:30. You have to say 12:30 in order for people to understand what you mean.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Does not make any sense to me.
It used to confuse me a lot because in the West, in Canada and the US, we say past. So when someone says 12:30, I used to think 11:30 myself until I started working with more Brits and Scots and Irish people at my place of work. Started to get accustomed to their customary sayings, and it's no longer a problem. But I did have that same problem, I'll be honest.
But why did you automatically assume? Why did you think that it was 11:30? I don't understand. Because
really, technically, from 11 to 12, that's the 12th hour of the day. When you hit 12, that 12th hour is kind of finished because midnight starts at 00. So from 00 to 01, that's the first hour of the day. So if you say 1:30, then it'd be half of that first hour. You see where I'm coming from?
Oh, yes, I do. But sorry, I just got distracted there. Carl Wells just got it.
Woo-hoo! Would you look at that?
I have Clive in my head. Carl Edwards is going to be on the stream next week. So
that's
yay,
right. And for those of you who are wondering,
there it is. There it is.
There she be.
Good on you, Carl. I knew it would be you. It's the first thing I've ever beaten you on any of the quizzes.
All right. So
on Terry's channel, we do a quiz quite often where who is it? Gravity Guru or somebody, one of the guys will do a quiz for us, and 20 questions. It's all pretty high science questions. Carl Edwards beats me typing every single time. He does really well. He's going to be very interesting to listen to.
I hate to say it. Math Pig actually got it before him. I'm sorry, I did miss that. Or is that before him? Let me see. Did you get it first? Who got it first? Yes, Math Pig got it first.
Math Pig got it first? Ah.
Yes, so Math Pig.
Sorry, Crafty, but it looks like we're having bacon next week.
Yes, Sable Eagle, you need to contact me, please, because apparently, someone tagged me, and I can't even remember. I think it was Dr. Bob's server. Someone tagged me and said that was actually watching the show and said that Sable Eagle found it before Fohammer. So we need to organize. Oh, you did? Yeah, you did email me. Yes, I do have your email. We need to get you on the show at some point too.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll get it all sorted out, folks. But there you go. The goat's been found. Geez, I gotta make these tougher, Crafty.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just scrolling back and I see Fohammer said that Surf already found it some time ago.
What? Did he get it when the goat yelled? Or did he get
Ah,
it before?
see, if it came before the goat bleats, it doesn't count.
I'll have to
Ah, okay.
The contest does not start until the goat bleats.
Right. You guys talk there for a minute. I'm just going to go down the line from past and see.
Ah, cool.
So Jeff, what's your next show coming up? I really like the yeah, go on.
Yeah, the part 2 of the Pain of Progress, Roman Empire, the fall of the empire, is set to premiere at 8:15, just after this stream. So
That reminds me of were you able to watch the chat last time? They were just going crazy about what have the Romans ever done for us? Ronnie Clive well started that one.
Yeah,
It was a funny.
yeah, I did see a lot of that in the stream last week, and actually, Bunker 33 did a thing on Romans earlier today. So,
Yeah.
geez.
I'm looking back there, and it looks as though the first person after we let the goat bleed is Hans Zipfel.
Who's who?
At 12:31.
I see Surf's just said, I never said where it was, so yeah.
Yeah. So it was actually Hans. So
Well,
Hans, right. So the requirement is that you have a microphone. You don't have to go on camera. We don't do cameras on this show. So you're grand. As long as you have a microphone, please email me. My email is in the description. And I will send you out for I'll send you out the link for next week. So if you definitely want to come on, please save us from MathPig.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. I have to say,
Crafty doesn't like bacon.
I don't like bacon, but I do like MathPig. He's awesome. But it's fun to give him a hard time. So yeah, Tanny Bogle then said that it was Hans that got there first.
Okay.
It was definitely Hans. So Hans messaged me. You do have brilliant. So Hans is going to be joining us next week. Yay!
Yay! Cool. It's going to be nice to have you on, Hans. So, John, since we're all here to get to know you a little bit, what do you do for work? What's your profession?
I've just recently gone out on my own to do home improvements and handyman work.
Oh, cool.
For most of my adult life, for about 25 years or so, I was a private investigator specializing in surveillance.
Wow, now that is interesting.
It does. It sounds a lot more interesting than it was. I'll give you an example. Watching a doorway for 12 hours is not very interesting.
Well, true. But still.
You get your highlights, you get about 5 minutes of action, and then you get about 12 hours of nothing. But, you've got to be ready for that shot.
Yeah.
But, it was very interesting. I used to specialize in a lot of different areas. Then I really got absolutely sick of sitting down, writing reports and editing videos and pulling photos and still photos from the videos and inserting those in reports. And I was driving a computer and a car, and it really just started driving me crazy. Affected my social life. I became antisocial. It just drives you nuts. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then I decided to go back to, get out and get my hands dirty, get outside, get out of the car, get out of the office. And I went into landscaping. And then I was doing landscaping for about a year or so, basically on a labor hire basis, so I could actually have my own time. And then I was headhunted for a job at we've got this charity in Australia. It's quite well known, a place called House with No Steps. And I was headhunted for this job working with the disabled. So they took me on as a team leader. and I had a team of 4 or 5 guys that were intellectually disabled, and
Okay.
I was thrown in the deep end. I was given very basic training, but I was a mentor, chauffeur, referee, trainer. You know, but basically, the team was with me all day long, and
Hmm.
the sort of guys, autism, behavioural problems, schizophrenic. I had one guy, very angry sort of fellow. He was almost I'm not even sure what his proper condition was,
Uh-huh.
but it was very fulfilling. But it was a very low paid job, and I was you end up doing the team leaders do about 70% of the work.
Yep.
Of the actual physical work, and that was property maintenance and gardening. So it
Hmm.
was varied. It was out and about. It was interesting. Every day was different. And then I decided I really wanted to get back onto the tools. I wasn't doing enough, maintenance and repair work, and I really like carpentry.
Hmm.
Uh, I've been very keenly following Blue Marble Sciences project,
Yeah.
the Flurf coffin.
The flurf coffin.
That guy's amazing.
He is. He's got good skills. I like it.
Oh,
If
absolutely. What a
anyone in the chat has a question for John, now is the time to ask it.
Uh,
Wait for the fucking questions to flood in, the random questions. What's your favorite? Do you eat pineapple on pizza? Which
I
is
do.
no.
I do like a good Hawaiian pizza, ham and pineapple.
Ugh. Right, you can fuck off now. I'm joking.
we've got a Johnny O in the chat.
We do have a Johnny O in the chat. We were talking about you earlier. Later. See, my brain is not working at all. My brain is fucked. When did you last? Taddy asks, when did you last see a drop bear?
Oh, we have them all the time. I live on the edge of a natural bush reserve, and we've got plenty here. They don't bother Aussies. I think they're activated by accents, so they're really bad for tourists. They really hate the accents. So if you're a tourist in Australia, that's why people give tourists a hard time. Our native wildlife is just, if you're an Aussie, you grow up with it. The cuddly little funnel web spiders. We play with great white sharks in the surf. They're really good fun when you're a kid and you can swim quick. But everybody says everything in Australia is trying to kill you, but Aussies are a different breed. It's only the
Yeah.
tourists that have a problem.
Well, you see, here's the thing. I hosted an Australian woman at one point. The first time I myself hosted an Australian woman, and she is saying, we went out to collect wood from the woodshed in order to make the fire. And she says, it's really nice to go collect wood and not be worried about being bitten by a deadly spider or a snake. And it was the first time I ever thought, shit. In some places in the world, collecting firewood is, actually dangerous.
Oh, well, I've got to be careful with our woodpile at the back. We've got a red-bellied black snake that sort of lives around here, so you've got to be a little careful. But when you grow up with funnel webs, that's the interesting bit. You turn something over in the backyard, like if you're turning a rock over or something, you learn as a very young child to turn things over and look before you just grab something and pick it up. But funny enough, we first built our house here in 1974, I think. And just not long after building the house and moving in, the next door neighbours put a pool in. So they had to dig out of the bush rock and the bush. They had to dig. They had the excavators in. And in 1974 there was no anti-venin. Well, these guys uncovered a nest of about 200 odd funnel webs, and you didn't see them again for another month. And because there was no anti-venin, the CSIRO came out, and so they had all the scientists out there trying to collect all these funnel web spiders for to work on their anti-venin. So that was very interesting. And then years after that, we used to look after the neighbour's pool, and you would find them on the bottom of the pool. Every couple of days, there'd be 1 or 2 on the bottom of the pool, and they would live for 3 or 4 days on the bottom of a pool. You fish them out with the scoop, And they, as soon as you get them out into the air, they start, scrabbling around and take off again. So you just toss them over the fence and back into the bush. But they really are a hardy little thing. And we were in the chat the other day, and I was saying how cuddly and nice they were and everything. And one of the, I think it was Rider of Dinosaurs, comes in with, "Oh, and don't you just love how they hold up their arms and for a cuddle?"
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing you don't want a follow web spider to see doing. That's when you turn around and go away.
That brings to mind a story I heard a little while ago. A few years back, somebody down in the States was traveling through the States on their holiday. They were in Arizona, and they saw this really nice cactus they liked, so they dug it up and brought it home. And the thing started making noise, and then all of a sudden it burst open, and hundreds of baby tarantulas came crawling out of it.
Ooh, I like tarantulas. I do. I love tarantulas. If you haven't seen it, John, Brainbug. I'll send you the link after the stream. Brainbug has a series of lizards. He was showing. What was he showing up? He had a mantis and a
I saw him in a
scorpion.
stream the other day with the scorpions.
Yes.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yes, I was watching that stream. I was like, "Oh, scorpions!" He has a load of scorpions. It's pretty fucking cool. I love watching his show.
I can handle most things, but I have got the worst arachnophobia you have ever seen. I'm sorry, I just cannot get anywhere near something with more than fucking 6 legs.
Oh, this summer's been particularly bad for spiders around here. I mean, I can't walk out the house or up the driveway or around the backyard without, taking out about half a dozen spider webs with my face. That's the big disadvantage of being a 6'1" person. Everybody else is less than that, and I always get it in the face because everybody else has cleared everything below that.
I agree, Fullhammer. Spiders are the reason flamethrowers were invented.
I'm just looking for Brainbug's link. Oh. And yes, Math Pig, you can't do it. You have no wrench. Nah, 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 nah.
Bowhammer asked earlier, John Rapp, are you an actual rapper? No. Rap is actually short for my surname, and I have nothing to do with rap. I am an absolute worst rapper in the world. I really don't even like the type of music. It's just that all my life I've always been just John Rapp. In fact, people don't even call me John. There's people on my baseball team that sort of say, "Who's John?" And they've played with me half a season.
How long have you been playing baseball?
8 years now.
Wow.
Took it up when I just turned 51. I hadn't played it since high school. I actually hadn't played a sport for 27 years, I figured out. I used to play Australian rules, which is AFL. And got injured out of that when they were training me up for first grade when I was about early 20s. But yeah, haven't played another sport ever since. But I'm naturally fit. So yes, we are 3rd place and in the semi-final next week.
Nice, congrats!
Good job. Good job.
Fingers crossed for you. Let me know how that happens.
I have admitted my fear of spiders. What are you afraid of, Crafty?
I don't know. Right. So I was something from my personal life. I was suicidal at the age of 8, and before then, I was afraid of heights. And because of my constant attempts to commit suicide, I lost my fear of a lot of things. Because I was no longer afraid to actually die. And a lot of it isn't a fear of dying. It's a fear of falling, or it's a fear of getting hurt. Yeah. But I don't know. Ever since I was 8, I have a fear of people. Because I'm bipolar. So like certain social situations, I can't deal with. So I'd say that's the only fear that I really have left.
That's really surprising because you're one of the most sociable ladies I know.
Only sometimes, only when so it depends. I find being social exhausting at times.
Oh.
I can be very social, but only sometimes. And I really know how to get people to fucking like me, don't I? I have more enemies than I know what to do with.
Plot hole says you're afraid of Johnny O.
I am not afraid of Johnny O. Johnny O is afraid of me. Biatch. Is
And
afraid of three things. Three things, yeah.
how about you, John? Do you have an irrational fear we should all know about?
No, not really, not at all. I don't think I fear anything. I'm sort of the I'm the practical guy. I'm the guy that's the MacGyver of most situations. I love
Well,
Clive Wells has just pointed out something that I like to point out, that for 5 years now, my jersey number for baseball in Sydney here has been pi, the symbol pi.
Peopling is hard.
Peopling is hard. Peopling is hard.
Yeah. Well, I have an interesting question for both of you that I've been wanting to ask. What do you think, or what do you hope we will get from Perseverance now that she's on Mars?
Oh, interplanetary robot wars is the theme that I've been going with.
That would be fun. That would be great fun.
I'm just waiting for the other guys to get their robots there, and then we can start that series. That'd be great. Could you imagine it?
Oh man,
Robot Wars Mars Edition.
It is so exciting.
Interplanetary.
Right now.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? It's just the technology, and to think that we're going out there. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, I'm still like utterly amazed at how they put that thing on the surface.
I'm waiting for the helicopter to have a go.
It's amazing.
You know, I'm the thing that I hope most about the effect that it'll have. You know, that we won't stop pushing. That, I mean, a lot of people want the rover to find Perseverance to find something.
Yeah.
I don't care if it finds something. It's the fact that we've done it. It's the fact that, and this is what gets me about the science deniers. We have put a fucking thing on Mars, a man-made thing on Mars.
Yeah.
If anything is to come of it, is that what's next?
Yeah.
What's next? Is it to get people to Mars? In which case, let's get people to Mars. Is it to get people right out to hover over fucking Jupiter to see these big, huge storms? Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
My big thing is that it doesn't end if Perseverance doesn't find anything. It's the fact that it's there.
Yeah.
That's huge. And that they just keep pushing the envelope, keep progressing. That unlike what happened with the moon missions, they don't just stop.
Yeah.
Because it gives a lot of people a lot of hope.
Well, I think it's really re-energized the will to get us back on the moon in 2024.
Yeah.
And I think when that day happens, there's going to be a lot of conspiracy theorists running their asses off trying to cover their butts.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
it's a great time to be alive, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
I am literally the most optimistic pessimist I've ever met. Like, I really am. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. I'm always like, keep going.
Dr. Osiris just put in the best comment. I've seen this around, but Mars is the only known planet fully inhabited by robots. I think that's a great line.
Yes.
That is, actually. That is. I'm really excited.
How many have we put on there? Is it 4 or 5 now?
I think this is the 4th one.
I know the Russians tried to put one on. Oh, Dead Kennedy in Space, guys! You've got to watch Dead Kennedy in Space's series on the Mars. He's done about 3 or 4 videos on the Mars probes, and he also did a shuttle series as well. Absolutely fantastic creator, I think.
I'm just pulling up his link there because I can't do two things at once. I'm fucking terrible. Seriously. I am terrible when it comes to multitasking. And for some reason, his link isn't coming up for me. I'll get that link and I'll post it in. But yes, Dead Kennedy in Space has an incredible series, and he goes very in depth, which is important.
Yeah, wonderful videos. I always look forward to the stuff he puts out. Really, really good stuff.
Ex Penguin, whose books are pretty awesome. I know Dead Kennedy in Space has books, or he has a book. I don't know how many books he has out.
He just recently
brought out
released
two
a new
trilogies.
One.
Yeah, he's got a couple of he's got one book and is the second half of the title is How to Hunt Humans. Something about in the jungle. That's a bit dark. It's about a fellow that goes hunting humans, and he gets into a situation where he ends up going into jungles and hunting other groups of humans. It's quite a dark book, but he's also done 3 trilogies, sci-fi trilogies, a single book on its own, and he's just released a horror book, which I haven't had a chance to read yet.
Cool. Well,
but he's actually quite the author.
Yeah, Taddy put his link in the chat. Thank you, Taddy. Math Big says Crafty Keelah for producer of the year in 2021. Absolutely fucking not. You can fuck off. And speaking of producers, and while he's in the chat, I'm going to embarrass him for a little while. First week of March, people. First week of March. Keep watching, because we will be having the first Eye on Society starting with Taddy Bogle coming back as the producer for that show. So I am really excited to get him back into the production seat, because I can't do things for shit.
Yes, Teddy, awesome. You've been a bit quiet lately. We've been missing your input.
Yes. Taddy has to come back, and he's going to make I've roped him into doing one a month, so that's going to happen. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Well, anyways, guys, it's almost 8 o'clock, and we need to kind of close up shop, because in 15 minutes, the premiere of Pain of Progress is up. So, you got any last minute things you want to mention, Crafty?
Well, just real quick, I am going to put the link for the Pain of Progress. So people, when this stream ends, go over there, because I cannot wait for this. I really can't. I'm living for this series.
Part 2, The Fall of the Roman Empire.
Yes. So I'm still working on trying to get. I've had some audio issues the last week, so I'm still trying to get that Challenging Conspiracies out, which will be hopefully out this week. I know I've been promising, but life gets in the way all the fucking time. So the other thing is next Friday, I am having a live stream in the early evening, I think. Depends on what time I get home from work. So it might be 10 o'clock, might be 9 o'clock. I don't know. I will be having a live stream on basically what I was talking about last night on Cider and Port's channel. It's the Free Britney movement and the conservativeship, and what conservativeship actually means, what it was set up to do, what it was designed to do, and how it's being abused. We were talking about this before the stream with reason. So I'm going to have a proper, full, in-depth discussion about conservativeship and the Free Britney movement, because it's absolutely, the more I look into this this issue, the more horrified I am that it's allowed to happen in the 21st century. I'm not a fan of Britney Spears, but what's happened to her life can easily happen to anyone with a mental health issue. So that's why it is important for us to take it seriously. So that's what's coming up next week. Next Friday,
awesome.
I'll be having that.
Make sure you put a link to all that stuff in the side chat.
Yeah, I haven't set up because I need to make a thumbnail.
Oh, okay.
I haven't set that up, but I will be setting up in the next day or two, so people will have somewhat notice. But again, I have to see what happens tomorrow, because I'm back on the 12 o'clock shift. So I don't know if I'm going to get out at 8 o'clock or if I'm going to get out at 6 o'clock. So that's going to probably impact. But I might go live at 10 o'clock and just run with it.
Just keep a good eye on Crafty's channel, everybody. Watch out for that notification. It's going to be a great stream. And it's important. It's an important topic. Needs to be talked about. So be there.
Yeah.
I do
And-
like your sociology content. I really do. It's very interesting.
Oh,
You
yeah.
do it really well.
Yeah. I am
I'm-
going to do a lot more of it. I am doing a lot more of it. So the challenge, what's it?
Challenging conspiracies.
So the Ion Society is going to be either once a month or every 6 weeks. And that's going to look at in-depth stories of why issues in our society are issues. So the first one is going to be on Myanmar because it's a current topic at the moment with the coup. People don't understand what happened. They don't understand the history of it. So we're going to go into, we have 15 minutes of a video explaining the history of Myanmar, aka Burma, as a lot of people would know it, and what happened. And then we'll have a panel of speakers afterwards. So we'll be discussing it then with I'm trying to think of who I have for that. I can't even think. My brain has gone mush. But Fashanti will definitely be on. We may have Stephen from Cider Report. And I can't remember who else I have for it. I do have a list somewhere that we're willing to come on and discuss it. So it will be a lot more sociology driven. Can't wait for that.
I find it fascinating that the trying to work out the motivations of some of the flirts, because picking the pose from the pose from the was it snake oil salesman, from the genuine idiots that the Dunning-Krugers, their motivation is just fascinating. And to interview some of them, I think Katz did some interviews, and I really liked who was the fellow that was in Korea? I've totally lost him now. We haven't seen much of him lately.
I don't.
He was
know.
in Korea, did the Cavendish experiment in his spare room.
People in the chat should know. But anyway, yeah, no. Well, Furball, BM Furball.
Furball, that's it, BM Furball. I can't believe I forgot that name. I was fascinated by that experiment, but he did a great series of interviews. I remember him interviewing, was it Riley, Anthony Riley?
Yeah, I will be doing a lot more in terms of the challenging conspiracies. I'm trying to get one out a month, but it's just with the new job being so physically demanding, I just haven't been able to get stuff done.
I
And
know that feeling all too well.
The other thing that I'm doing is myself and Katz are doing a duo, a two-parter, and one is looking at the Dunning-Kruger and what it is, how it affects people, and the other is on the lesser-known imposter syndrome, which a lot of people don't understand what that is, and we all experience it, and it has such a profound impact on our lives, especially those of us who have qualifications and stuff like that. So we're going to be looking a lot at that. So that's coming up. I don't know when that's going to be done because, Kat is busy, I'm busy. But we will get that done at some point. I've already been brushing up on imposter syndrome, brushing off the dust, the cobwebs and stuff. But other than that,
you're going to be looking forward to that for
sounds
sure.
Really, it sounds so interesting. Yes, definitely.
Well, John, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And it's nice to finally hear your voice and not just see your name in the side chat. So it's been a pleasure
Thank you
talking
very
to
much for having me on. And Crafty Keelah, thank you very much for taking my cherry.
You know what? When I decided to step back from creating, you were one of the people who messaged me saying, please don't stop. And that you and a few others are the reason why I'm still making content. So I owe a lot of that to you.
Well, that makes me happy because I really was just dumbstruck that you were quitting, and I really didn't want to see that, and I'm sure nobody here wanted to see you leave at all.
Yeah.
It's wonderful you stayed. You came back. That's great.
Well, again, it was because of people like yourself encouraging me, so
Yeah.
and supporting me. It
certainly.
meant a lot.
Certainly have to have you back on again sometime. So
And
Well, thank you. I'd love to.
Hans Zipfel, can you message me, craftykeelah@gmail.com? I think it is definitely in the description. Please message me, and I don't know if you have. Oh, you might have. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. He has messaged me. Great. So I'll be able to send you the link, and we'll have a chat afterwards. Besides that, thank you guys, everybody, for coming. 35 people in the chat at the moment, so we had a great time. The four horsemen are in the chat, and it's great to see you guys up and running. We had Fohammer on last week. John, please keep doing what you're doing. Please stay around in the chats because you really do make it for a lot of us. So,
well, I must say, I really thank the chat a lot, because the chat is probably one of the most interesting parts of any creator's channels. I love the chat. And these people are really, really good people. Thank you for that.
Yeah. We always look forward to seeing you there.
But
sure.
right now,
Thank you.
We need to end the stream, and we all need to go to the link that I'm posting in the stream right now. Go to that link, and we're going to watch the Pain of Progress. And please do come, because it's going to be awesome. So,
and we're on my channel next week, I believe. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. Very good.
We'll see you guys later.
Thank you. Crafty, thank you very much.
Thanks for coming out, everybody. We'll see you at the premiere.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.